Hey guys, Scott here. And today I want to talk about gen speeds because this is one of the most common complaints you hear. Gens go too fast. Gens are too fast. And I don't agree with that statement just right off the bat. I think a more fair statement would say the game progresses too quickly sometimes, because that can be true. But to say gen speeds are too fast, you're saying that it should take longer than 80 seconds to do generators, which I don't think is the right way to go about fixing it because, frankly, that's just boring as hell. And the thing is, if you do change the game like that, if you do make gens take longer in an effort to make it so you don't really need gen delay perks anymore, people will still just run gen delay perks, and then you've just got even longer generators. It doesn't actually solve anything. It's not like people will all of a sudden be virtuous and just not use those perks. They're just going to use them to gain even more of an advantage. So I've always said that's not the right way to do it. Frankly, I think that's a really, really bad way to do it. I've suggested a couple things in the past, like the whole trial warm-up thing, where, the game doesn't really start until you begin your first chase. And, I spent a lot of time and effort on that video, and it seemed like they were interested in it like a year and a half ago, but they apparently just never did anything with it, so that's cool. So, that being said, let's address the actual main issue. And this issue is illuminated a lot by the new perk, Lethal Pursuer. And I'll go over why that's the case. So, what Lethal Pursuer does is it shows you exactly where survivors spawn. And it shows you their auras for about 5, 6, 7 seconds. And then that's all the perk does. Now, I implore everybody to run this perk to show you how busted certain spawns are. The thing is, I've had games myself. I'm a pretty darn good killer, and I've had games myself where after the first chase, 3 gens are done. It's a shitty feeling. Doesn't mean the game's over, because the nature of DBD is the less gens there are, the easier it is to control the map. But it does happen. Now, the thing is, it's kind of balanced by the fact that usually survivors kind of spawn next to each other. So they have to fan out across the map, and by doing so, they drastically increase their chances of running into the killer, which means the killer can slow them down, they can hook them, that requires people to come save. Now you've got, a whole snowball of slowing the game down. So one of the most important things survivors can do is spread out. That is like the fundamentally best thing survivors can do. It stops slugging, it makes camping useless. Like, if you just spread out, it is very, very, very strong. So that's the main thing survivors should have to do. However, sometimes the game just hands that to you for free, which I think is probably the biggest problem with the game. I think it's even more of a problem than maps simply being too big. Because even on the big maps, if you hook somebody across the map, a survivor has to spend even longer walking across the map to get to it. So there's still some form of delay. The problem is where people spawn. On these matches where people spawn together, it is never, ever a scenario where all the gens are done in 4 minutes, ever. Because, it's more fair. That's how the game should be. Survivors should have to use their skill to evade the killer and spread out, or work on a gen immediately and try to fix it as quickly as possible. They shouldn't get placed strategically around the map where it benefits them most for free. That is terrible design. And the fact is, it's random. It's not even that's how the game works. Just sometimes you get fucked over completely. And you'll know you're in those types of matches without this perk. If you're on Corrupt Intervention, you'll notice sometimes the gens blocked will be kind of weird and random, and a survivor will spawn on a gen that's not even blocked. Because they're so spread out, it can't even calculate like which ones to put them on. So here's an example. This happened all day because I was running the perk all day. But here's an example of just how unfair this spawn is. Let's look at where everybody actually spawns. It's ridiculous. So we have one guy across the map right here, completely by himself. He's got 2 gens on the side of the car wall to work on. On top of that, he just spawns directly on top of my totem, like right on top of it. So that's just free. So I already have to just lose that totem within a second into the match. And then as we go further, we see one guy spawns in this building, so he's got this generator to work on. This guy spawns on the hill, he's got this gen to work on. This guy spawns right here, he's going to have that generator to work on. Within 10 seconds, every survivor has access to a totem or generator without having to do anything. This is bullshit. This should not happen, and is probably the biggest problem with the game right now. In terms of, survivors being able to do gens too fast. It's not the gen speeds, this is the problem. You should not spawn pre-spread out. In fact, there are offerings in the game to force people to spawn together or spread out. It's almost like it's not supposed to happen like this, but it just happens anyway, rendering those offerings useless, even though they're on the reverse side. It should be killer gets the together, and But here you go. This perk really shows you the main problem. This is horseshit. This is when you have those games where the gens get done in 3 minutes because you can't do anything to stop that. The game already handed it to them for free. They already have access to 4 gens within 10 seconds. The most I can do is chase one guy. I can't even, they're not even gens that are near each other. I can't pressure multiple people by chasing one guy. This is one of those scenarios where all I can do is chase one guy and 3 gens pop. Even if I down that guy within 20, 30 seconds and it's a really good chase, 3 gens still pop. And that's really stupid. And it's not even okay, they did gen so fast, they don't even get to they just created a 3 gen because they didn't even get to think about where they were doing gens. They just did them so fast. No, the game spawned them so spread out that there won't even be a 3 gen. They'll still have shit spread out wherever they want it to because they are so spread out. So, yeah, I had to just talk about this for a bit because this is what people mean when the games can go too fast. The people that say that gens need to take longer or whatever, no, that's a really bad way to fix it. But the game can go too fast if you get unlucky like this. And the new perk, Lethal Pursuer, lets you see when that's happening. So I urge you guys, when Nemesis goes live, to run this perk. Compare the time of your games when they spawn like this to the time of the games where they spawn all together. And I guarantee you, these are the games where you go, what the fuck, Survivor OP, and the other matches where they spawn how they should together across the map are going to be, those are the more fair matches. So this is the problem right here. This is, I think, the biggest problem in the game, more than the actual big maps. You should not be handed this shit for free. This is really, really dumb. But that is it, guys. Take it easy.